Good afternoon po sa lahat ng aking mga subscribers at sa mga followers ko dito sa YouTube channel, Rolando Ampang. Kahapon po ay pinag-aralan po namin kung paano magbasa ng mga salita using the what we call different tenses of the verb. Pag sinasabi nating verb, this is a word that shows action or a state of being. Now, in forming a word using the different root words that we have, we are following the different tenses of the verb. What are the tenses that I am talking about? We have the simple present tense of the verb, progressive present tense of the verb, and the past tense of the verb. So kahapon po, tinalakay po namin ang dalawang uri ng tenses of verb, which is the simple present tense of the verb and the progressive present tense of the verb. So let's say, for example, for the verb that we have the play. Now, to form the simple present tense of the verb play, we just have to add e or s. So that's it. So from the word play, plays. But of course, it should always agree with the number of noun. Para po sa mga sumusubaybay sa akin dito, it should always agree with the noun. But this time, we will not talk about the agreement between the noun and the verb. Hindi natin to pinag-usapan dito sa ngayon ang agreement ng verb and the noun. Ang pinag-usapan lang muna natin dito ay kung paano isulat ang simple present tense of the verb. So, let's say for example, play, nagiging play simply by adding s. Now, there are words, verb or words that would not be form its past or simple present tense by adding s only. Let's say for example, we have cry. So this sample of word cry, it ends with y. So if a word ends with y, to form the simple present tense of it, we just have simply change y to I. So change y to I, then add es. So this is the word that we have now, cries. So from the word cry, it would become cries. So this is the simple present tense of the verb. Now again and again, we are not talking of the agreement of the noun and the verb. What we are doing right now is just how we could form or how we could write the simple present tense of the verb, regardless of the agreement of the noun and the verb. We are just talking about the verb alone this time. Now, another example, let's say pray. So the word pray, it ends with y, but there is a vowel letter a. So if this would be the case, we will just have to copy the root word, then we have to add s. So from the word pray, it would now become praise. Another example, let's say for example, we have the word carry. Carry. Okay. So the word carry, it ends with y, but prior to the y, there is a consonant letter r. So what are we going to do? So change y to I, then add es. Carries. So we were able to write the simple present tense of the verb as simple as that. Okay? So now another one yesterday that we have studied. So this is the simple present tense of the verb. Now another topic that we had yesterday is about the progressive present tense of the verb, or in some what we call it as the ing of the verb. Now how do we form the ing of the verb? Very much simple, by adding ing alone. Let's say for example, play, so this would become playing. So this is progressive present tense of the verb. But I am not talking about any agreement between the noun and the verb at this time. I am just talking about only the verb. Hindi ko tinatalakay ang tungkol sa mga agreement with the other subject of the sentence. Okay? So, ang tinatalakay lang natin dito kung paano natin isulat o i-form ang progressive present tense of the verb by using the ing of the verb. Okay, another one example is the cry. So, cry would become crying. Then another one is pray would become praying. Then carry would become carrying. So you just have to add ing. Okay, that's what we call the ing of the verb. So that's what we have discussed yesterday. So this afternoon, another form of verbs that we had is about the past tense of the verb. The simple past tense of the verb, we just simply, okay, I just have to recap. Before we go with the simple past tense of the verb, i-recap muna natin yung aking tinatalakay kahapon, which is about the simple present tense of the verb and the progressive present tense of the verb. Ulitin ko lang, we can form or we can write the simple present tense of the verb by adding s or es. But there is an agreement between that. If you are going to add s only if it ends with y, but prior to the y there is a vowel letter. There is a vowel letter. So you just have to add s. What about if it is a word that ends with y but there is a consonant letter that follows up before the y? So that is cry. So we just have to change y to I, then add es. Again, a word that ends with y but there is a vowel letter a, you just have to add s. That's as easy as that. In the case of carry, so you have to change this y to I, then add es. So that's the simple present tense of the verb. Another one, the progressive present tense of the verb, or somewhat called as the ing form of the verb, you just have to copy the root word play, then add the ing, so it would become playing. The same with the cry. There's no we're not going to change it, but you're just going to add ing. And next is pray. Again, you just have to add ing, and carry, we just have to add the ing of the verb. So that is the progressive present tense of the verb. So this afternoon, tinalakay naman namin ang tinatawag na regular verb. So pag sinasabi natin regular verb, this is the kind of verb in which we could form the past tense of the verb by adding d or ed. Umusot ka dito. So, ito yung uri ng verb na dinadagdagan lang natin ng d or ed. D, adding, d, add d, or ed lang. So, example, play. So, we have to use this one, play. So, all you have to do is you just have to add ed. Okay, so this is an example. So, another one is, what about this one, ed? Kailan tayo nag-a-add ng ed or d alone? Let's say, for example, if you will be using, if you will be using clap, the word is clap. So, in the case of clap, the final sound is p. The final sound is p. So, all you have to do is double the final sound, then add the ed. So, what is the final sound? The final sound is P. So, it is said that you are going to double it. So, clap. Then, the ED. Another one, words that have the final sound, let's say, for example, is mop. So, the word mop, the final sound is P again. Okay, so since that is P, double the final sound, so that would become mopping. So, these are the example of what we call, how do we form the past tense of the verb by adding d or ed. As simple as that. Okay, so another one, there are words that ends with ch. Let's say wash. Or sh. Let's say first the sh. So wash. So to form the past tense of it, simply you are going to add ed. Washed. But the pronunciation differ from the root word. So it would become washed. The same with the watch. Let's say for example, word that ends with ch. So, ch, so you are just going to add again with ed. So it would become watch.
Washed.
So, it's not watched. It is not washed, but it's washed, watched. So that's how, as easy as that, in writing the past tense of the verb using past tense of the verb, writing the past tense of the verb using the d or ed. So that's it for today. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for following me in my YouTube channel. Continue to subscribe and follow my video here, and hoping that this would help you, a big help for you to widen your vocabulary, especially in spelling. Learning how to form the past tense, present tense, and the progressive present tense of the verb. This would not only help you how to read, but also this would also help you how to spell correctly the words that you have. And also, this would help you to widen your jargon or your vocabulary. Thank you so much for this afternoon. See you next time on Monday for our next activity, which is about the irregular form of the verb. Happy watching, goodbye, and good afternoon.